Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. And as we know, the truth has a very nasty habit of coming out. And for the SNP, this is disastrous. Now, I will say it's very sad that it's happened now and not a few weeks ago. I think it's unfortunate that Alex Salmon died before what we're going to go discuss has come out. He would have revelled in it. It would have pushed him onwards, I think. It may very well have even saved his life. I mean, that's speculation, of course, but he might have been in a much more upbeat way and less stress. And obviously, with a heart attack in the offing, stress is not good. But the whole report, the legal advice that was given at the time of the Alex Salmon inquiry, that Sturgeon did not want released, that she fought against, and when she was forced to release it by the Information Commissioner, it was completely redacted. There was every single line was redacted. There was nothing. And then the Information Commissioner, said, no, this is wrong, and you must release it. The SNP took the Information Commissioner to court. The judges looked at it and cogitated and thunk for about 3 seconds and said, no, it must be released. And they still refused to release it. And now it is being released. James Hamilton, the Information Commissioner, is releasing it. He has released it in full. And remember that the SNP spent £30,000 trying to keep this information covered, because this was the information on their legal advice on whether to do what they're doing. And it's pretty bad. All these releases have announced, all these attempts to keep it hidden have bounced back in their faces, and it is, it's coming back to haunt them, effectively. Now, David Hamilton, who's the Information Commissioner, as I said, he's now published his own legal advice. Now, I'm going to read this to you because there's a line he says, and I'm not going to remember it. But he's released his own legal advice from David Johnson, the KC of the case. And this is the one that exposes the Scottish government. That's the one that they chose to fight, in the court, which lasted 3 seconds. Now, he wrote that Mr. Hamilton was instructed to investigate ministerial conduct, which he was, and his report was submitted to the Deputy First Minister. And he added, and this is where it goes, the investigation was subjected to ministerial oversight, albeit it is made clear that the Secretariat staff should not disclose information outside the Secretariat itself. The report was published on Scottish Government website. Compliance with the code, in my opinion, is a matter to which the Scottish ministers collectively have an interest. The code itself emphasises the duties incumbent on ministers and their collective responsibility. The investigation was instructed and carried out, evidence was obtained, and the report produced for the purpose of considering whether a minister's conduct complied with the code and deciding on appropriate sanctions if it did not. Information was obtained or created for that purpose. That, in my view, amounts to an appropriate connection with Scottish ministers, such that the information in question is held by them. And that's the important thing, is held by them. Because their reasons for not saying that they could release it, say, oh no, we can't release it, it's not held by us. Well, now it is. It's held by them, so they must by law release it in full. It went on to point out that the government no longer needed to preserve the integrity of it, as it's already finished. The whole thing's finished, so there's no integrity to be risked by releasing the information. But they're still restricting it. They're still not wanting to publish the whole report. So Hamilton's now released his legal advice that shows that the Scottish government does hold this information, and they must now legally release. Now, it is expected that when the legal advice that they will now have to publish is published, it will show that the legal advice to Sturgeon is that she had no chance of winning the case, but she proceeded anyway. And that is the moment in which it all falls down. Because if your legal advice is that you must not proceed, and then you proceed, and this is all to do with taking down Salmond, then it's clear that you're proceeding not because it's the right thing to do, but out of some kind of vengeance or nastiness, some personal attack. And with Salmond now dead and that being released, Sturgeon will be seen for what she is. Absolutely monstrous. Now, Sturgeon, of course, was accused of misleading MSPs in Holyrood because she did not inform them of a meeting that she had with Alex Salmond's advisor, Jeff Aberdeen. And that's where she was told about the harassment complaints against him, she claims. But she told MSPs, had found out on a later date, and claiming then that she'd not remembered the meeting. I'm sorry, but if you're going to go and talk to the man you hate's personal representative, Aberdeen, and learn in that meeting that complaints had been made of a sexual nature against Alex Salmond, you ain't forgetting that. There's no way you are forgetting that. So even the claims that she has no recollection are obviously lies. She cannot help herself. She lies and she lies and she lies. And when she's caught out in the lies, she lies some more to try and get out of it. Well, there's no getting out of it. She is a nasty, vindictive brute of a woman, an awful woman, who I think hounded a man to death, in my opinion. She hounded him to death. And I do hope that the case goes on. I hope his now, in death, I think he could come back and haunt them, is where I'm going with it. Excuse me. I think the case must go on and he must rip from the SNP £3 million out of them and totally destroy the party. That would be the fitting tribute. But now that now that it is seen to be held by them, we wonder how long it will be before the information is released as part of that freedom of information release, and how long it will be before the person who receives it posts it up on social media. We all get to see what a horrible, horrible person Nicola Sturgeon truly is, that she hounded a man to his death, allegedly, even after being told by her own legal advisor that she had no chance of winning it. And we want to know if she is complicit. Now, we all suspect she's complicit, but we want to know for sure if she's complicit in raising the false claims against Salmond that led to this whole issue, this whole chapter of disgustingness within the SNP. Because if she is, then I think she needs to go to jail for that, as well as everything else. Wait and see. Let me know what you think. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.